You know, we were talking about what a festival beer is, and that was part of the conversation. Is, you know, we're not going to make a big, you know, robust, huge-bodied, hoppy IPA for a festival. It's not that kind of event. It's out in the sun. It's a summer event in Victoria. It's got to be light. It's got to be crisp. It's got to be really drinkable. So we kind of narrowed it down to a classic Pilsner style recipe.
Holding back laughter.
So you're trying different beers that maybe you haven't tried before, and then our ciders as well. And then, yeah, you get to try so many great foods, all the different food trucks, so it's kind of like a little food truck festival.
Hold back in the soul, guilty taste.
I think I had a lot of tacos last year, I don't really remember. Bit of a taco blackout.
About it all.
If you've ever been to a music festival, you know it can be a feat of endurance. Long afternoons in the sunshine, dancing, socializing with friends. You need fuel to get you through those long afternoons, like these tacos. But what if a music festival goes above and beyond and showcases some of the best the city has to offer, like pulled pork sandwiches, artisanal coffee, oven-roasted pizzas, and a beer garden with locally sourced natural apple cider and 18 different craft beer. In this episode, we're going to show you some of the ways Rifflandia creates a food and beverage scene that is unique, satisfying, and delicious.
Everything's different when it's all today, looking through a magazine.
Crazy. I mean, we're load in, there's, I don't know what, 20 trucks or something all trying to coordinate in at the same time. So it's a little bit like an air traffic control situation coming in. And then there's sort of like an interesting correlation with the bands. You know, the bands are loading in, you're loading in, they're doing sound check and you're prepping. And then when they're performing, you're performing sort of at the same time. Yeah, it's hectic for sure. When your lineup has a horizon on it, it's busy.
Nick, in all his ways and persuasiveness, when, as a matter of fact, Market Square is going to become Royal Athletic Park, and we need a food and beverage program. Execution-wise, we've really evolved from 4 years ago because the whole street food scene has changed so much. It's become mobile. It's become so apparent in our lives, day-to-day lives, following your favorite food truck to different locations.
We have a finite amount of inventory, and so many people, especially with the explosion of food trucks and all the sort of mobile eating, if you will. But Glenn, again, he plays a very important role, and quality's big for him. Where Dimitri and I might go see a band and see if they're good, and say, yeah, we like this group, let's get them on Rifflandia. You know, Glenn will say, I'm going to go eat everything on this guy's menu at his food truck and hang out for lunch with everyone, and we'll decide whether we have them at the field or whatever.
The whole food truck culture has really started to blossom in the past few years, and that seems to be translating over into festivals now. And I think that a lot of the great programmers in North America are now putting a lot of attention into that side of the fan experience. The idea that you can get good food, good amenities, good drinks, and not feel like you're just at a football game type of environment where it's hot dog and mustard and ketchup.
The organizers of Rifflandia have definitely worked hard to ensure that festival goers aren't just fed, but fed well. Now, of course, that doesn't just mean food. There's a full-service coffee bar set up in the park where you can find anything you would in a normal coffee shop. And they're particularly passionate about craft beer, something that's very popular in Victoria.
I can't imagine there's many other places in a city this size that could have 10, soon to be 11 and 12 craft breweries, 19 independent coffee shops. We have 3 independent record stores that I know of, and we have 360,000 people. And so the Victorians really gravitate to that. And I think Rifflandia, Phillips Brewery, and others have really tapped into that.
We've been involved with Rifflandia since day one. We had a conversation with Nick Blaska that we'd been involved in some other festivals, and he told us about his concept and what he wanted to do. And being Nick, he wanted, of course, not just to do the standard, beer at an event kind of thing. He wanted his own beer. Something we didn't really do much of because it's a slippery slope, and you start doing that, and everybody wants their own beer. But Nick's concept was so amazing and so cool, and we thought it really spoke to what Victoria is.
Phillips didn't just create Rifflandia Brow for Rifflandia, they also went way beyond and transformed their brewery into an awesome venue for hip hop and other live shows. They also created this. It's an air organ, and they've used all their various cans and bottles as reeds to create the sound. How awesome is that?
We were walking around, said we walking around, we walking around, the time.
You know, I've been to shows in a lot of different locations, and I will still maintain that the backyard at Phillips Brewery is one of the best venues I've ever been to anywhere in the world. And some of my all-time concert highlights have been, the weekend evenings of Rifflandia in that venue. So it's an amazing spot.
So you might think that creating a beer for a festival and then turning your parking lot into a venue space would be enough, that you could really leave it there and be good. But then you wouldn't know how crazy Phillips is about music and the community.
One of the important things about a festival that has beer at it is that you have beer accessible, that you don't spend your entire concert experience waiting for a beer. So when we were brainstorming about what we needed to do to make sure that people had an awesome time at the festival, we realized that beer service was huge. And so when we started talking about the number of people we're talking about and the amount of beer they're going to consume, you kind of realize that the only right way to do it is mass. And so when we started looking at what was available for equipment, we quickly realized that the smart thing to do was to take an 18-wheeler, punch a bunch of taps on the side of it, and make that the draft system. And so we did. We got an 18-wheeler and with a refrigeration system on it, and we punched in, I think, 40-odd taps into the side of it, put a full draft system on it, and then we realized, man, that is ugly. It's super ugly. It's just an 18-wheeler with a bunch of taps on it, and it's a perfect canvas.
We just kind of were spitballing ideas and trying to come up with a creative way to decorate this big white trailer. And the idea of the old apothecary kind of wagons and the tonics and elixirs and that kind of a thing sort of came to light, and we were like, yeah, that's right up our alley. We're all Wes Anderson fans, so a lot of that kind of Life Aquatic and that kind of stuff, came into play. Just that kind of fantastical element to it. A lot of the beers that they make down there, and the art kind of has that feel to it, that sort of like a juxtaposition of different styles and kind of strangeness.
By broadening its scope, Rifflandia has created a festival that is about more than just music. It's a cultural event, a foodie haven, and a music fan's dream. In this next episode, we'll be exploring some of the ways Rifflandia has connected with the community and helps bring everyone together for an amazing weekend each year. Community and culture, next time on Rifflandia TV.
She said not everything has to be something, so maybe this thing is not anything at all. She said maybe we should just